Hi, everybody. Welcome to my client testimonial call with Miss Katie. Full transparency, Katie and I do know each other. We worked together at Orange Theory Fitness for a little while. She also used to take my classes when I coached at the Lake Worth studio. But Katie, I'll let you kind of chime in and tell us a little bit about yourself as much as you're willing to share.
Hey everybody, I'm Katie. I was blessed to experience David as a coach at Orange Theory, and then hit him up for nutrition and coaching skills, especially postpartum. Now have two babies, two under two, which is crazy hectic, but I definitely needed some help getting back into gear and back into the swing of things and attaining my goals.
Very nice. And if you don't mind sharing, tell people about a little bit about your typical home life and your family.
Well, as you can hear, I'm actually outside walking right now, but typical home life is pretty busy. My husband and I both work full time, and then having two young ones, it makes things a little bit more challenging to schedule things and to kind of it's very easy to fall into unhealthy habits. And so David kind of helped us to be consistent and kind of taught us a way to make things work for us, especially amidst crazy chaos.
Awesome. Now, when you started coaching with me, where would you place yourself, in terms of your mental state, your physical state? Where were you before working with me?
I mean, I was definitely ready for a change. I was feeling pretty uncomfortable just in my own skin. Just obviously that happens to us, especially after we have babies. So in terms of my readiness and willingness and motivation, I was there, and I was feeling pretty crummy about myself just because my clothes didn't fit the same way. I wasn't able to physically run or do things the same way I was used to. So that's kind of where I was mentally at the time.
Thank you so much for sharing that. I know that's kind of a personal question, so I'm sure the people that are watching appreciate this. Did you have any skepticisms before working with me or about joining one of my programs?
I really didn't, to be honest, have much skepticism. I was pretty, by knowing you, I know that you kind of do things by the books and are very data driven and read the research and the evidence and kind of make those, you do the hard work for us. You do the research and then you kind of present the data to us. And that is what drives your instruction. So that's kind of really a main reason as to why I even pursued you, to be honest, is just that I'm really data driven and research based, and to know that you do the hard work for me kind of took a lot of the burden off of me.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the kind words. During our time working together, what would you say was your biggest breakthrough?
My biggest breakthrough is I struggled a lot with just eating enough protein in general. Even before having a baby, I know I didn't necessarily do that great of a job. So I would say that changing the way I eat and the way I think about things was the biggest breakthrough. Especially because now, and even throughout the time, I never really felt like I was on a diet, or I was handcuffed to eating specific foods at specific times or anything like that. Obviously with two little ones, it's kind of all fend for yourself and, every man for himself kind of thing, in terms of the adults. So that was probably the biggest breakthrough, is knowing that, okay, now I know how to think about things. Now I know what snacks to eat when I'm pretty stressed, or the baby's crying, this one needs to eat. So that was probably the best breakthrough in terms of the process.
Awesome. I only have two more questions. I know you got to get back to little Lucas, but what specific results did you see during our time working together?
Specifically, if instead of a lot of people look at the scale, right? So obviously the scale reflected change, which is great. I'm not taking anything away from that. But most importantly, I felt like now I'm running a little bit faster than I was even 6 weeks ago. My clothes fit a whole million times better. So yes, the scale showed the results, but I'm wearing running shorts I didn't necessarily feel comfortable wearing before, so that is where I measure more of the success and more of how I'm feeling mentally. Does that make sense?
That makes total sense. Hey, but don't be afraid to, share the specific results.
Well, and I mean, in terms of that, my measurements on my waist went down like 6 or 7 inches, 8 inches, I think, actually. I've honestly lost track, which is probably a good thing. But it's really, I'm not going to say that it wasn't hard work, because, you know, changing things and being, you know, cognizant of things that the choices that you're making is tough, and being consistent is tough, but it's pretty easy when the results kind of speak for themselves. And when those changes do happen, you know, within a week or two, I was already kind of like, ooh, you know, got a little step in my groove, you know, groove in my step. And then as the weeks followed, you're like, oh, wait, I can really do this. This is really, really great. And so then the inches continued to just fall off. And now I see muscle definition in my legs where I didn't see muscle definition a couple weeks ago. And, oh, look, there are little abs behind my belly button, you know, and things like that. So that's pretty reinforcing and refreshing mentally as well.
And honestly, like, no joke, out of all the clients I've worked with who have come back to like a training atmosphere, or like dialing in their nutrition postpartum, you've made the most significant body composition results I've ever seen. Like, when I saw your measurements drop 4.5 inches from your waist, and then you kept going, I'm just like, what? Like what's going on here? Like that, like I told you, that's impressive. That's the most impressive postpartum results I've ever seen. So just keep it going.
Thank you. And I mean, I'm not gonna lie. It's helpful to hear your feedback too, which has been really, really motivating and like reason to keep going. And then as I've started to feel better, even at 9 o'clock at night, if I'm tired, I'm like, oh, nope, I'm going to go lift really quickly, because I'm feeling that motivation too. So it's kind of like, it gives you a good kick when you're feeling like a reasonable excuse coming on.
Awesome. Last question. I know you got to get back to your family, but who would you recommend my services to, or one of my programs to?
I would honestly recommend your services or programs to anybody, but specifically, you know, women who are busy. I mean, you probably can hear the baby crying in the background and things like that. So it's made it a lot easier, because it's not like I'm spending 7 hours on a Sunday meal planning and meal prepping and things like that. It's just, you've given me like very quick, easy ways to attain my goals without taking away, you know, 4 or 5 hours on a Sunday, which I don't have, or, you know, 6 hours on a Monday, you know, whatever it might be. So I really would recommend to anybody, but specifically people that are like super, super busy and, you know, kind of feeling down and out a little bit on how they're feeling.